Assalamu alaikum students. This is your instructor Muhammad Umar Khatak for the subject Organizational Theory and Behavior. This is our 12th lecture and chapter number 3rd. And today the topic of our discussion would be the impact of dissatisfied and satisfied employees on the workplace. The impact of dissatisfied and satisfied employees on the workplace. These are the consequences when employees like their job or dislike their job. One theoretical model is helpful to us in understanding the consequences of dissatisfaction. The framework model four responses which differ from one another along two dimensions: constructive, destructive, and active, passive. The responses are defined as follows. Exit. The exit response involves directing behavior towards leaving the organization, including looking for a new position as well as resigning. Voice. The voice response involves actively and constructively attempting to improve conditions, including suggesting improvements, discussing problems with superiors, and undertaking some form of union activity. Loyalty. Loyalty response involves passively but optimistically waiting for conditions to improve, including speaking up for the organization in case of extreme criticism. Neglect. The neglect response passively allows conditions to worsen and includes chronic absenteeisms or lateness, reduced effort, and increased error rates. Exit and neglect behaviors encompass our performance variables: productivity, absenteeism, and turnover. This model expands employee response to include voice and loyalty, constructive behaviors that allow individuals to tolerate unpleasant situations or revive satisfactory working conditions. These voice mechanisms allow them to continue in their jobs while convincing themselves they are acting to improve the situation. We now discuss more specific outcomes of job satisfaction and dissatisfaction in the workplace. Job satisfaction and job performance. As several studies have concluded, happy workers are more likely to be productive workers. Some researchers used to believe the relationship between job satisfaction and job performance was a myth. But a review of 300 studies suggested that correlation is pretty strong. As we move from the individual to the organizational level, we also find support for the satisfaction performance relationship. When we gather satisfaction and productivity data for the organization as a whole, we find organizations with more satisfied employees tend to be more effective than organizations with fewer satisfied employees. Job satisfaction and organizational citizenship behavior, OCB. It seems logical to assume job satisfaction should be a major determinant of an employee's organizational citizenship behavior. Satisfied employees would seem more likely to talk positively about the organization, help others, go beyond the normal expectations in their jobs, and perhaps because they want to reciprocate their positive experiences. More recent evidence suggests that satisfaction influences organizational citizenship behavior through perception of fairness. Why do those satisfied with their job contribute more organizational citizenship behaviors? Research indicates that fairness perception explain the relationship, at least in part. What does that mean? Basically, job satisfaction comes down to the conception of fair outcomes, treatments, and procedures. If you don't feel that your supervisor, the organization's procedures, or pay policies are fair, your job satisfaction is likely to suffer significantly. However, when you perceive organizational processes and outcomes to be fair, trust develops. And when you trust your employers, you are more willing to voluntarily engage in behaviors that go beyond your formal job requirements. Job satisfaction and customer satisfaction. Is employee satisfaction related to positive customer outcomes? For frontline employees who have regular customer contact, the answer is yes. Satisfied employees increase customer satisfaction and loyalty. Employees are encouraged to create fun and a little weirdness and are given unusual discretion in making customers satisfied. They are encouraged to use their imagination, including sending flowers to disgruntled customers. Dissatisfied customers can increase an employee's job dissatisfaction. Employees who have regular contact with customers report that rude, thoughtless, or unreasonably demanding customers adversely affect the employee's job satisfaction. A number of companies are acting on this evidence. Service oriented businesses such as FedEx, Southwest Airlines, Four Seasons Hotels, American Express, and Office Depot obsess about pleasing their customers. Towards that end, they also focus on building employee satisfaction, recognizing that employee satisfaction will go a long way towards contributing to their goal of having happy customers. These firms seek to hire upbeat and friendly employees. They train employees in the importance of customer service. They reward customer service. They provide positive employee work climates. And they regularly track employee satisfaction through attitude surveys. Job satisfaction and absenteeism. We find a consistent negative relationship between satisfaction and absenteeism, but it is moderate to weak. While it certainly makes sense that dissatisfied employees are more likely to miss work, other factors affect the relationship. For example, organizations that provide liberal sick leave benefits are encouraging to all their employees, including those who are highly satisfied, to take days off. Assuming that you have a reasonable number of varied interests, you can find work satisfying and yet still want to take off to enjoy a 3 day weekend or tan yourself on a warm summer day if those days come free with no penalties. Job satisfaction and turnover. The relationship between job satisfaction and turnover is stronger than between job satisfaction and absenteeism. The satisfaction turnover relationship also is affected by alternative job prospects. If an employee is presented with an unsolicited job offer, job satisfaction is less likely to predict turnover because the employee is more likely leaving in response to pull, the lure of the job, than push, the unattractiveness of the current job. Yet again, other factors such as labor market conditions, expectations about alternative job opportunities, length of tenure with the organization are important constraints on employees' decision to leave the current job. Evidence indicates that important moderator of the satisfaction turnover relationship is the employee's level of performance. Specifically, level of satisfaction is less important in predicting turnover for superior performers. Why? The organization typically makes considerable effort to keep these people. They pay raises, praise, recognition, increased promotional opportunities, and so forth. Just the opposite tends to apply to poor performers. The organization makes few attempts to retain them. There may even be subtle pressures to encourage them to quit. We would expect, therefore, that job satisfaction is more important in influencing poor performers to stay than in influencing superior performers to stay. Regardless of level of satisfaction, the latter are more likely to remain with the organization because the receipt of recognition, praise, and other rewards gives them more reason to do so. Job satisfaction and workplace deviance. Job dissatisfaction and antagonistic relationship with coworkers predict a variety of behaviors organizations find undesirable, including unionization attempts, substance abuse, stealing at work, undue socialization, and tardiness. Researchers argue these behaviors are indicators of a broader syndrome called deviant behavior in the workplace. The key is that if employees don't like their work environment, they will respond somehow. It is not always easy to forecast exactly how they will respond. One worker's response might be to quit, another might take work time to surf the internet, take work supplies home for personal use, and so on. In short, evidence indicates that workers who don't like their jobs get even in various ways. And because employees can be quite creative in the ways they do that, controlling one behavior, such as having an absence control policy, leaves the root cause untouched. If employers want to control the undesirable consequences of job dissatisfaction, they should attack the source of the problem, the dissatisfaction, rather than try to control the different responses. Implication for managers. Managers should be interested in their employees' attitudes because attitudes give warnings of potential problems and influence behavior. Creating a satisfied workforce is hardly a guarantee of successful organizational performance, but evidence strongly suggests that whatever managers can do to improve employee attitudes will likely result in heightened organizational effectiveness. Satisfied and committed employees have lower rates of turnover, absenteeism, and withdrawal behavior. They also perform better on the job. Given that managers want to keep resignations and absences down, especially among their most productive employees, they will want to do things that generate positive job attitudes. Managers will also want to measure job attitudes effectively so they can tell how employees are reacting to their work. As one review put it, a sound measurement of overall job attitude is one of the most useful pieces of information an organization can have about its employees. The most important things managers can do to raise employee satisfaction is focus on the intrinsic parts of the job, such as making the work challenging and interesting. Although paying employees poorly will likely not attract high quality employees to the organization or keep high performers, managers should realize that high pay alone is unlikely to create a satisfying work environment. And this would be the end. Thank you.